What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now. I'm Alex, and in this video, I want to talk about a new rumor for Resident Evil 9, and it's something I think we have to kind of talk through. I don't think it spells like the end of Resident Evil. I think people do have different takes on it for sure, but it comes from classic leaker Dusk Golem, who's talked about not only Resident Evil in the past, but other games, and generally, in terms of his realm of what he knows, he gets a lot of stuff right. Again, I think there's some ambiguity in what he says. I think you can kind of read it different ways. You can see it by, the title and thumbnail of the general topic, kind of open world. Now, we'll see exactly how open world, and that's what I want to talk about in this video, but let's read his tweet. So first he says, so here's a little tidbit I'll share. Capcom often will greenlight new initiatives in threes closer together. Decent examples are RE7, RE2, and DMC5 were all greenlit fairly close together to take advantage of their new RE engine. And the idea to remake RE2 inspired them to also take on RE3 and then RE4 for a remake initiative, so again, kind of in threes. Dragon's Dogma 2 expanded the RE engine functionality for open world games. The two other games building on this tech is Monster Hunter Wilds and Resident Evil 9. And then he does go on to say at the very end that basically these franchises are still their franchises. Dragon's Dogma 2 is clearly Dragon's Dogma. Wild is still clearly Monster Hunter. Same will be true for RE9 with Resident Evil. And I think he says that, right, because you're seeing the response from the fans, that saw his tweet. And it's people saying, oh my dear God, like, okay, you think of Dragon's Dogma 2, and then are we literally talking about doing that exact same thing for Resident Evil 9? Okay, well, this is where, my opinion piece I want to come in. Number one, you can already, I feel like, see it being built with RE8 or Village, right? In Village, it is this semi-connected, I don't really want to call it open world, but it is this world that is semi-connected, and it's pretty expansive. Now, it's not Dragon's Dogma, too expansive, but it's pretty expansive. So that's the first thing I want to say, because regardless, if we never had this leak, and we were just speculating what 9 would be like in terms of that world mechanic, right? Different regions kind of being interconnected and all that stuff. I feel like you can make a pretty good argument that you just take what they did in Village and you would expand upon it, which would give you a semi-open world. It depends on your definition, right? But a semi-open world type game. Now you add in this rumor, and I think, honestly, it just becomes more real. Now, do I need it to literally be Dragon's Dogma 2, but then with zombies? That's a lot of the comments, right? Where it's like, you see that zombie, you can climb it, just like, Dragon's Dogma. Very clever. I don't think it's going to go that far, right? But I do think the idea of an interconnected world and just the way, well, okay, not every way that Dragon's Dogma does it, right? Because it really does kind of push different things or new things with the pawn system, and specifically Dragon's Dogma 2 with the way that quests work. And I mean, I guess it was built off of, in the first game, but those kind of things I don't really see happening in RE9. I mean, maybe some of the way you explore, say, like a region, but not all. So personally, for me, I'm not going to freak out about it. I think it makes a lot of sense for okay, here's the thing, whether you like it or not, right? Like maybe if you wanted to go a little bit more linear or like entrapped, then okay, you might not like, this rumor, but you also might not like where it's been going, right? Because 7 had that feel where it was kind of trapped, right? But it also was interconnected. And then 8 took the same kind of formula that's really been done for a long time, and it just kind of expanded it, made it a bit bigger, right? But I mean, even RE4, you see with RE4 Remake, right? Like, it's not the most new of all time. If they were to pull something similar with 9, I don't think it would surprise people, right? Maybe the scope. And that's ultimately, you got to see it, right? Like, as you get closer to 9, maybe, I don't think they'll show off the map in like a traditional, like, hey, here's just a picture of the entire map, right? But if they start to like emphasize, okay, here's what we're kind of doing with like world building and how the world works, you might be able to see, oh, this might be on scale, with other games. Is it going to be a Monster Hunter type thing? I don't think so. Is it going to be a Dragon's Dogma? I don't think so. But I do think if you just take what they did open world wise with Village, which, again, depends on your definition of what open world is. But if you take that and then you just kind of beef it up and maybe liken it more to Dragon's Dogma than Resident Evil 8 Village, then that's what you might get, for RE9. So we'll keep an eye on it and we'll see what happens. But I'm not that upset. I think there are some people that are saying, if it's full scale like Dragon's Dogma, I have seen people say like, not every game needs to be like a giant open world. I agree. I am very much, I've always said not every game needs to be an 80-hour, open world game. I very much understand that. I just don't think they would go all the way. Well, let me know what you guys think in the comments. Make sure, as always, you're subscribed to the channel, bell icon turned on, and I hope to see you all on the next one.